In the roaring 20s, cosmetics mogul Lillian Sefton Dodge crashed through the barriers of Long Island's old money enclaves by building a 60,000 square foot house with her self-earned new money. Hi everyone, Ken here. Hit that subscribe button and let's explore this house. Born in 1880, Lillian grew up in Washington, D.C. and even pursued a career in singing and acting as a young woman. In 1905, she married businessman Vincent Benjamin Thomas, who soon launched the Harriet Hubbard Ayer Cosmetics Company, one of the first American beauty firms. Lillian became deeply involved in the business from the start, working alongside her husband. When Vincent passed away unexpectedly in 1918, Lillian took the helm as president of the company, a bold move for a woman in that era. Under her leadership, the company thrived and grew into an international cosmetics empire, and by 1938, she was reportedly the highest paid woman executive in the US. In 1947, at 68 years old, Lillian sold the cosmetics firm to the Lever Brothers Corporation for approximately $5.5 million, the modern equivalent of nearly $80 million. But that's getting a bit ahead. In the meantime, Lillian's personal life evolved along with her career. By the early 1920s, she had remarried, this time to Robert Leftwich Dodge. He was a noted mural painter and stained glass artist. His works adorn institutions like Vassar College and even the Library of Congress. He joined Lillian's company as art director, blending his artistic eye with her business savvy. Together, the successful cosmetics executive and her artist husband began envisioning a stately country estate where they could enjoy the fruits of their labor. With the roaring 20s in full swing and Long Island's North Shore a hotspot for grand mansions, Lillian set out to build a home that would rival the finest of them. In 1922, Lillian commissioned the New York architectural firm of Clinton and Russell to design her dream home on an 86-acre waterfront site in Mill Neck, Long Island. The result, completed in 1925, was a sprawling, roughly 60,000 square foot Tudor Revival mansion she named Septton Manor. The design was directly inspired by St. Catherine's Court, a historic Tudor mansion in Somerset, England, reflecting Lillian's lifelong affinity for English art and culture. True to the Tudor Revival, the mansion's exterior was constructed of rugged brown Westchester granite and tawny limestone trim. Steep grey slate roofs were punctuated by tall chimneys and gabled dormers that evoked a 16th century English country house. The estate's landscape was no afterthought either. Renowned landscape architect Charles Wilfrid Levitt laid out formal gardens on the grounds, including a sunken garden adorned with classical ornaments. Visitors would find trim boxwood hedges, stone urns on pedestals, and even 3 domed pavilions flanking a reflecting pond. At the center stood an imported 18th century Venetian tiered fountain splashing gently, all part of a romantic European ambiance in the Long Island countryside. No expense was spared in making Sefton Manor House a show house of craftsmanship. The mansion's front entrance featured 500-year-old solid oak doors fitted with hand-forged iron hardware by Samuel Yellin, a famed ironworker of the era. Visitors stepping through those grand doors entered a towering great hall, 24 by 42 feet, lined floor to ceiling in oak paneling and boasting an elaborately hand-molded plaster ceiling. To one end, the fireplace steals our attention away from the grand staircase, which we will see soon enough. And to the other, we can swing open iron grills and step through the pointed archway to find the living room. This is the largest room in the house, spanning from the front to the back below a dazzling Jacobean plaster ceiling, with a large bay window filtering in multicolored light through stained glass panels. Off to the side, a door opens out to the side porch, where checkered floors meet with the limestone-clad arcades reaching out towards the garden. Had we headed the other direction in the Great Hall, we would have found the formal dining room, continuing with walls clad in richwood paneling. Continuing our journey, we find grand rooms, some with alcoves creating cozy but stately nooks. Back in the Great Hall, we'll find the grand staircase and begin our journey to the second floor. As we arrive at the stair landing, we pass by antique European tapestries and genuine suits of armor. The stained glass windows just in front of us were a custom commission, each one depicting scenes from various Shakespeare plays. Let's take a quick look at the floor plan for the second level before continuing on. Above the living room is where we find the couple's bedroom, interestingly taking a break from heavy woodwork to introduce light colors and painted millwork. In July 1940, Robert passed away after a long illness, dying at home in the manor at age 68. Lillian was devastated by the loss of her husband and partner, but continued living at Septton Manor for much of the 1940s. In 1947, she decided to retire from business, selling her cosmetics company and preparing to close that chapter of her life. Soon after, she turned her attention to the future of Septton Manor. Rather than let the estate fall into decline or be sold off to developers, Lillian arranged for the property to take on a new life. In 1949, the Lutheran Friends of the Deaf, a charitable arm of the Lutheran Church, purchased Septton Manor. Their vision was to establish a residential school for deaf children on Long Island, and the ready-made campus of Septton Manor was an ideal setting. The mansion was soon renamed Millneck Manor, reflecting the local village name, and preparations began to convert the opulent home into an educational institution. Remarkably, the conversion was done with great sensitivity to the historic architecture. The organization's architects made only gentle modifications to accommodate classrooms and dormitories, ensuring that the manor's character was preserved. Over the following decades, Millneck Manor School for the Deaf flourished, and by 1956, the school was fully accredited by New York State, confirming the quality of the education provided there. The school made a few well-thought-out changes to the property, and this careful planning made Millneck Manor a standout example of how to adapt a historic Gold Coast estate for institutional use without sacrificing its architectural integrity. Indeed, through the late 20th century, the property remained extraordinarily intact. The formal gardens kept their original layout, the grand entrance drive still swept past rows of stately beech trees, and inside, the mansion's many original fixtures and details survived. Lillian Sefton Dodge lived to see the early years of the school's success. She passed away in 1960 in New York City at the age of 80. Lillian effectively left behind the legacy of the estate in the hands of the Lutheran Friends of the Deaf. By the turn of the 21st century, Millneck Manor School for the Deaf had evolved into a day school program, and in 2002, the last regular classes moved out of the old mansion into newly built facilities on the campus. The great house by the bay had finally earned a restful semi-retirement after half a century of daily school use. Today, Lillian Sefton Dodge's beloved estate still stands as a jewel of Long Island's North Shore. And with that, I'll turn it over to you. Which part of this house was your favorite, or maybe something else stuck out to you? Either way, let me know down below in the comments section, and while you're there, make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an exciting episode of This House.